questions how to enable encryption for the PDFs that they email to make sure that the emails are safe and compliant with, say, HIPAA. If you're a healthcare provider in the United States, you're going to want it to follow these protocols. It's not turned on by default because we have a lot of fitness professionals or healthcare providers outside of the U.S. that don't really care about HIPAA per se. So if you're in the United States, you should really do this. Or the other caveat is that if you're not using the stress survey up through here or the PDF, if you get complaints that the PDFs are not being linked in your emails, one of the workarounds is to either have a stress survey or just simply put a password on the PDF. And there's an explanation on why this happens. The PDFs are being sent in that scenario. Unfortunately, Apple puts a one-page PDF inline text and it confuses some email clients and it shows a broken link. But if you click on that broken link and open in a separate window, you'll see that the PDF is actually there. And that's why you can view it on an iPad or an iPhone when you email it to yourself, because the PDF is actually there. So how do we do this? You notice right here there's a space. Well, that space is for turning on the password, and that's done in the settings, which I just went to. Notice that there's a little space right here. This is the place that you're going to put in the password that is the main office password that can open up any of the patient's email documents. So I'm going to put CBP123. Okay? So now, when those get emailed, blind carbon copy to that address, because I have the blind carbon copy turned on, I could use that password right there to open up any patient's PDF document. However, if we're using it for our own records, we recommend highly that you simply use the Dropbox integration, and that's in another tutorial, to simply upload your PDF documents to Dropbox. That way there's no PDF encryption, because if you send your medical records out on, say, a CD, you don't want the other healthcare provider having to have a password to open up the PDF document because they're already compliant with HIPAA. So with that being said, this is how you turn it on. Now if we go into a new patient screening, notice that field just became visible. So the way it works is we'll go ahead and put in a person's name. We'll just say Cheryl and Smith, and she's 5'2", and she weighs 122, and I'm going to put in an email address. Of course, this is my email address. Now we can go ahead and put a pain scale. If we wanted to do the pain diagram stress survey, we could do that. But simply, all we have to do is say, Cheryl, give me a simple password that you're going to remember when I email this posture assessment to you. Only you can open up that assessment that's attached to your email. And she'll say, well, you know, Dr. Joe, how about 123? Or how about my dog's name? And I'd say, okay, fine, what's your dog's name? And she's going to say Izzy. Now, it's case sensitive. That means if you use capitals, they got to use capitals. So if the patient can't remember that, just simply use a number. Have her use whatever 3 numbers in a row that she's going to remember, 1, 2, 3, or whatnot. I'm going to use Izzy. Okay, so there it is. So I want to show you something else here. We can go ahead and save and finish later. Okay, so I'm just going to save and finish later because I want to go back to patients that we already have. If we have patients that are already there, and let's go ahead and use Tim here. If I edit the screening and I hit name and pictures, if he had a password, can you see right here? The password's in that phrase, right? If they ask me and they say, Doc, I forgot what password I said for you for the PDF document, all you have to do is tap it, right? If you tap it, it will come visible, not in this screen because we have it masked, but in the screen in the end. So if I go in and say we go and begin the posture analysis, I'll show you where it's at. We've already went through this. I'm just going to hit next, hit next. So now in this screen, if we forget what it is, we just hit there and I can see that the patient chose the password CBP. So the way we get to that easily is if I go into patient screening and say Teresa. If I go into screening results hit send. She didn't have a password. I can put a password in there now. I can put in 123. And if I go back, hit edit screening, and jump into name and pictures, you're going to see that there's a password there. So the best way to find that password is if you hit it here, you're not going to see it. Again, if I go back to screenings and basically hit screening results on the last screen where you're going to send, you have a chance to pull it up for the patient. So if you hit that, there's her password. Okay? So now when I email this to Teresa, you're going to see it changes the phrase. Notice right here, it says that this is encrypted for your privacy. You're going to use the password that you supplied during, to our office during your examination. Okay, so that's their clue. And remember, of course, you can change this default text using the edit report module. Okay, but that's how you encrypt the PDF. And again, the reasons why you would do this, besides being a healthcare practitioner in the United States, is that you're going to want to bypass some of the problems that some email clients have with PDFs. And so if you use a password or make it more than one page by turning on the stress survey pain diagram, that makes it 2 pages. You could not have to put in a PDF password if that's all you're concerned with is the patient being able to open it 100% of the times. However, if you're a healthcare provider in the United States, we strongly encourage that you use a password with your patients, and again, it's that simple. Okay? If you have any more questions, feel free to reach out to us at info@PostureCo, that's postureco.com. Thank you for your time.